Hello and welcome to another episode of RayJ Reviews, a chance for you to learn about what I've been doing lately and hopefully want to get out and do some of these things yourself. Today, this is the first RayJ review I've done in 2015 and also the first one I've done at my new place in Crosby, Texas. A lot of firsts this year for me. I went to the first annual Crawfish Festival in Crosby, Texas, and that's what I'm going to tell you about today. The Crawfish Festival was typical in a lot of ways. You had a lot of vendors there with crafts and things like that, but it seemed to be centered around two things: live bands and crawfish. They had a really good band lineup: Casey Chestnut, Travis Matt, Uptown Drive, and Johnny Lee. Now, I didn't see all the bands that day. I couldn't stay the whole time, but interestingly enough, one of the first people I bumped into when I was getting ready to do some photography at the event was Johnny Lee. He was actually standing next to me while I was taking a photograph and waited for me to take the picture before walking in front of me, which a lot of people don't do that. So I talked to him briefly. It was pretty nice, and he seemed like a nice man. Anyway, the bands were pretty good. I didn't listen to all of them, but I did enjoy Travis Matt and the Uptown Drive. Uptown Drive played a lot of the older music from the 70s and 80s. One of the nice things at this event were all the features they had for the young kids to play on. The Moonwalks and More of Conroe, Texas provided them, and they had a pretty big variety, including this one interesting thing where they, kind of like a zero gravity thing where they spin around. Pretty interesting. And the kids seemed to be having a lot of fun, and they were outside of the normal area where you have to pay to get in. So you could actually come to the festival and have the kids enjoy these parts of the event without having to pay the admission price to see the bands. As I mentioned, one of the key features of this event, the central theme, was crawfish. The Crawfish Shack in Crosby, which is the biggest one around here, which is always crowded when I drive by there, they were the ones providing the crawfish, and I got to meet Dan, who is an owner with his wife, and I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about the event and what it's like to do one of these things.
All right, I'm Dan Moe with the Crawfish Shack. Been in business 12 years. Started out right at 90. 12 years ago, we were in business there for 4 years. Small little shack. And we moved over 8 years ago to our new location, right by the overpass. Been there for 8 years. It's been an awesome business. Crosby has really opened their arms and welcomed us. And we're now the #1 crawfish place in Texas for the last 4 years. So we move a lot of crawfish. It's been a blessing. We brought out 3,000 pounds to start with. You never know when an event like this is going to take place. It's a first annual crawfish festival here in Crosby. So we brought 3,000, but we're almost through the first 3,000. Luckily, our business is right down the road. So my guys are bringing 15 sacks at a time. We have plenty of crawfish. If we do 5,000, 6,000, we're ready. Luckily, this new catering trailer that we have, this is the first time we've used it, we can store about 500 pounds that are cooked in the hopper, so we kind of stay ahead of ourselves. We pull the crawfish out early so they don't overcook, because they'll continue to steam in the cooler. So all day we've been staying ahead of ourselves. We've already done about 3,000 pounds, and it's going really well. I like seeing the whole community coming out and supporting the Chamber of Commerce, supporting the rodeo committee. A lot of that money goes to scholarships, and so it's a big fundraiser for the community. It brings people in from all over Houston and the surrounding areas, and it brings them out to Crosby and shows them a little bit of down-home hospitality.
So when I talked with Dan, it was about 6 or 6:30, so the event had only been going on for a little more than 3.5 hours. They had already sold and cooked 3,000 pounds of crawfish. 3,000 pounds. Unbelievable. Anyway, there was plenty of that, and the crawfish from the Crawfish Shack is very good. I've had it myself. Very tasty, very juicy. They had a lot of crafts from looked like local vendors mainly, and they had pretty good sponsorship. They had an auction later on that day, which I did not stay for. So it was a nice family-oriented event with good music, good food, and some good entertainment for the children. And so I would say next year this time, if you've got a chance here in the Crosby area, it'd be worth a visit. Well, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you'll go to my YouTube channel and view more of these. In the meantime, I hope you will get out and enjoy life.